You're in Vietnam, sitting down to a massive, fragrant bowl of pho. The broth is rich, the noodles are perfect. A local friend finds you and asks in English, "Have you eaten rice yet?" You look down at your noodle soup, confused. You're clearly eating. Why are they asking about rice? This isn't a one-time mistake. You'll hear it everywhere, from everyone, about every meal. Ăn cơm chưa? Have you eaten rice yet? Is the single most common greeting in the country. The answer isn't just about language. It's a story about war, famine, and what it truly means to care for someone.
Imagine this. You walk out of your apartment in Saigon. The air is thick with humidity and the smell of grilling pork for banh mi. You see your neighbor. He doesn't say good morning. He smiles and asks, "Ăn cơm chưa?" Later, you're at work, and a colleague doesn't ask, "How was your weekend?" She asks, "Did you eat rice for lunch?" Your phone buzzes. It's a message from a friend. "Busy today? Have you eaten rice yet?" This phrase is the social glue of Vietnam. It's a greeting, a conversation starter, and an expression of concern all rolled into one. It's the equivalent of "how are you?" or "what's up?" but with a tangible, practical core. It's so automatic that people will ask it even when they can plainly see you eating something else entirely. It's more than a question about a specific food. It's a national obsession. But why this one single grain? Why is rice the stand-in for every meal imaginable? The reason is etched into the country's memory.
For most of Vietnam's history, a full bowl of rice was not guaranteed. It was a victory. The older generations alive today carry the memory of profound hardship. They remember the Great Famine of 1945, a period of unimaginable suffering where millions perished from starvation. They lived through the post-war subsidy period, known as Toi Bao Cup, when food was strictly rationed by the state. During these times, a family's entire existence revolved around securing enough to eat. Rice was often stretched with cheaper fillers like cassava or sweet potato. A meal of pure white rice was the ultimate symbol of prosperity and security. So when a grandmother asks her grandchild, "Have you eaten rice?" it's not just a casual question. It's an echo from a time when that question was the most important one you could ask. It meant, are you safe? Is your family provided for? Have you escaped the ghost of hunger that we knew so well? It is a legacy of scarcity, now spoken in a time of abundance, but that still doesn't explain why it applies to a meal of pizza. To understand that, you have to look at the structure of a perfect meal. A traditional Vietnamese meal is a beautiful, balanced work of art, and rice is its canvas. Unlike a Western meal with one central main course, a Vietnamese family dinner is a shared affair with multiple components. At the absolute center, both literally and figuratively, is the giant bowl of fluffy, steaming white rice, or cơm trắng. Everything else on the table, a savory, salty dish like caramelized pork called mon mant, a fresh vegetable dish like stir-fried greens called mon zao, and a light, clear soup called canh, exists in relation to the rice. They are not the stars of the show. In fact, they are collectively called đồ ăn, which literally translates to things to be eaten with rice. You would never just eat a big piece of the braised pork on its own. It would be far too salty. Its entire purpose is to flavor a perfect mouthful of rice. The rice is the foundation, the substance, the point of the whole exercise. Without it, you don't have a meal, you just have a collection of side dishes. This structure is so fundamental that it reshaped the very definition of eating. Here's the thing that might change how you see this. In English, when we decide what to eat, we often categorize by the main flavor. Let's get pizza. I'm in the mood for Thai. Should we do burgers tonight? We are led by the most prominent ingredient or cuisine type. The traditional Vietnamese mindset works differently. The primary classification isn't about flavor, it's about substance. Food is divided into two basic categories: things that are for pleasure or snacking, and things that provide real, lasting energy to get you through the day. And the undisputed king of energy, the source of all true substance, is rice. It's what makes a meal a meal. Everything else is secondary. So when someone asks, "Angom chưa," they aren't literally asking, "Have you consumed the grain or risa sativa?" They are asking, "Have you consumed a proper, substantial, nourishing meal?" They are asking if you have truly refueled your body. A bag of potato chips is a snack. A sweet cake is a treat. Even a delicious bowl of pho, in the eyes of a traditionalist, might not count as a truly fortifying meal. It's an incredible dish, but it's not gum. I truly understood this difference when I met my friend's grandmother.
My friend Thang took me to his family home in a small village in the Mekong Delta. His grandmother, Bahai, was 87, with a back bent from decades of work and the kindest eyes I'd ever seen. We arrived in the mid-afternoon, and the first thing she did before even taking our bags was look at us and ask, "Hai du ăn cơm chưa?" Have you two eaten rice yet? We had, in fact, stopped an hour earlier for a huge, incredible bowl of hủ tiếu, a local noodle soup. So Thang replied, "Yes, Grandma, we've eaten." Bahai just gave a little nod and shuffled into her simple kitchen. She didn't argue or ask what we'd had. 20 minutes later, she emerged with 2 steaming bowls of rice, a small dish of fish braised in coconut water, and some boiled water spinach. She set them down in front of us without a word. For her, our fancy noodle soup was irrelevant. It wasn't a real meal. Real care, real hospitality was giving us a bowl of hot rice from her own pot. It was her way of saying, "You are home, you are looked after. Now you can finally, truly eat."
That bowl of rice from Bahai was an act of love. Once you see it that way, you start to see the concept everywhere, woven into the fabric of the culture. The person who provides for the family is called the chukot, the main pillar whose job is to ensure there is rice on the table. The definition of a happy, stable life is summed up in the ancient saying, "Gum na ao which means a full belly of rice, a warm coat. These are the 2 pillars of a good life. Notice which one comes first. When you invite a friend to your house, you don't say, "Come over." You say, "Đến nhà ăn cơm." Come to my house to eat rice. This is why Vietnamese expressions of love are often practical, not verbal. Instead of "I love you," you get actions. You get a peeled orange placed in your hand. You get someone nagging you to wear a jacket when it's cold. And you get the constant, unwavering question, "Have you eaten rice yet?" It is the ultimate verbal checklist for well-being, a way of saying, "I care about you," without having to say it at all. So, the next time you're in Vietnam and someone asks if you've eaten rice while you're holding a sandwich, you'll know what's really happening. It's not a clumsy translation or a strange fixation. It's a question loaded with history, culture, and profound care. They're not asking what's in your stomach. They're asking if you're nourished, if you're safe, and if, for this moment in your day, you are okay. The real question is, have you been cared for? And it's asked using the most powerful symbol of life and stability the culture has ever known. And that's so Vietnamese. If this made a little something click for you, consider subscribing for more stories.